As I was thinking about sex, money, and time, and I was thinking about, well, a lot of it in all three areas comes down to quantity and quality. How much, what's the quality of interaction, or with money, what's the quality of use? How do we use our money? Do we spend it on or not spend it on? How much is there? What's our relationship? Quantity is subjective. I was telling Jeff what we were going to do in the class tonight, and he was saying, well, quantity is objective and quality is subjective. And I said, no, quantity is subjective as well, because you can be a multi-millionaire and feel like the amount of money you have is plenty, sufficient, or not enough. It's not objectively the quantity. And you could have, much lower income. So, and that's the same with sex, and that's the same with time. So it's good to think about quantity and how we feel about that as being subjective. And quality is also dependent on our values. So money, how we use it, what are our shared agreements around it, what's important, what's not important. Because there's a certain way where the way we spend our money, so long as we share certain standards of what's enough or responsible, it won't really matter. We won't really matter what we spend money on and how, because there's a certain shared agreement in how of a lifestyle and a standard and a value judgment of where you put your money. Those values might be different. So then you need to talk about them, because the fact that they're different doesn't have to be an issue between the couple. And the fact that we have different values around where we want to put money or why is okay. But we need to have real, open, non-judgmental communication around that, and then make some decisions and set some boundaries. But we can't work out the money issues unless we work out the value issues. And our value issues are going to change. So what's important in relationship at a certain moment might be a sense of security, support, simplicity, not taking risks, not living on the edge. What might be important at another point in the relationship might be taking a lot of risks, living on the edge, pushing the communication, exploring, sexuality, putting more time into that. So when we talk about our values in a hierarchy of values, which is going to help us work out challenges in these issues, there isn't going to be a right answer and a wrong answer that's fixed at this point in time till the future. What we need to have between us is a sense of complexity in how we're thinking about these issues. And complexity has to do with our hierarchy of values. And if our ultimate, our at the top of our hierarchy is development, spiritual development, inner development, development of consciousness, sensitivity to consciousness, development of capacities in consciousness, that's going to look one way. Now, if that's our personal value, it's the top of our hierarchy. But in our relationship, what we're looking for is a kind of ease of being, and that ease of being and joy and harmony is going to provide a certain interpersonal healing, a certain emotional support. And that's going to tip the balance differently in where we put our time, where we put our money, what the quality of our sexual relationship is, and why and when. You can see that this question of values, it's a subtle thing, and it's something that you want to reflect on yourself. You want to become clear on yourself. And then you want to spend some time talking about it with your partners. But you want to speak about it in a way to start learning how to think this way. Because if we just start to think about these issues in terms of shared expectations and a hierarchy of values, then, and we're not that skilled at it, we're going to stumble into a landmine of charged personal issues, which will be hard. But if we approach this first, just more objectively, say, okay, well, what are the values that we care about? Period. And then can we order them? And are they different for both of us? Can we even name them? Is it hard to name them? Is it hard to name them in a way that's not too general? This is why I think that we can actually resolve a lot of the friction in these three major areas much more simply. But it's going to require much more work in an area that's harder but maybe not so charged.